Hey. New intro, everybody. What
Oh
do you guys
man,
think?
that was good. That was really good. I'm glad I didn't watch it before
Oh, good.
we had it on. You made
So
it
you
sound like it was
liked
gonna
it.
be. I thought that was really good, Derek.
Well, awesome. I'm glad you liked it. I mean, it's the first time I've got to play it for you. You've been sick for the last, 2 weeks? So
Yeah, This
hey,
thing, and it's still I still kind of have a little bit of it.
see how much work I get done when I don't have you bogging me down.
That's what I say.
I
I
mean,
tell you,
it's great.
just don't have me do anything, and things will get done.
That's
I've been
exactly
saying
right.
that for years. And
Oh man. Okay, so tonight we have a guest with us, and I'm going to bring him in here with us. He enjoys some of the same things we enjoy, which is why we thought it'd be fun to have him on the show. He reached out to us and said, "Hey, let's do something together," and we agreed. So here he is, yeah, Aaron from Immortal Rising Comics.
Hi, everybody.
Howdy. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great.
Awesome. So, I'm having a problem with my comments. For some reason, the chat, I'm seeing like this long comment box, but it's not letting me see the chat very much. So I'm sorry, guys, if I can't see you real well.
I can.
We will
see
get
it.
there, though. Can you see it good? Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say hello to who's here, who we can see so far. We have Crazy Mad in the house.
What up, Moby?
Wait, I'm confused. Can you see it or can't you?
Yeah, well, I can see it, but not like the whole page. So I used to be able to see the whole page and see a lot of comments. Now I'm seeing like a short. I can't get my fingers on the screen. A short bit.
Oh.
So we got Mo Biggs in the house. Hail Mo. Casey says, "Nice choking intro." And there you go. So that's who we have right now. I hope you're joined by more people.
Crazy Mad says replay it.
Replay it. I'll replay it here in a little bit. Let everybody see it.
I did.
You were saying you were having a hard time getting stuff. How did you get those? How did you get those video clips and it not being a problem?
Yeah.
You have no idea if it's going to be a problem.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a problem. I just
crossed
the line. So YouTube, have at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me know. I just made my own intro because I don't have an intro or outro. So I clipped together a couple of scenes that I wanted to use as an intro. And hopefully it played all right. I played it for the first time earlier when I talked to Jeremy from Zayd Studios. So
yeah, I mean, I was hoping that it was short enough that it's not going to trigger anything, you know?
Yeah, right.
That's really what I'm hoping. So I put a few GIFs in there, like Bob Barker and Chuck Norris punching.
Yeah,
I thought, that's perfect. Fits our theme for duking it out, you know. So
I gotcha. Yep.
DWAG put up some of my voice clips if you guys were still curious. I waited till Murph was back to link it. Oh, cool. That is cool.
I don't know about his voice clips. What?
Well,
do you know about them? Have you heard them?
I think he's done some voiceover stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Because we all imagine what Mo looks like.
Exactly.
But
that's awesome. I don't know if I can copy this. I'm going to have to go to YouTube to copy it probably because it won't let me copy it. Highlights the whole thing. It wants to put it up on the screen. So StreamYard's a pain in the butt sometimes. Hey, Joseph. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks, chat.
Yeah, it was just crack pack stuff. Okay. But I think I remember you talking about doing some, Mo. So I think I remember the voiceover stuff. So awesome. Well, do we have a question of the week? I think that is the question here, right? Let's go all the way up. Oh, yes, we do. We have to hit the question of the week here.
There we go.
So, question of the week. Would you rather always get stuck in traffic or always have a slow internet connection?
Oh,
man, that's infuriating. Both of those things are infuriating. I don't know which one's worse, really, when I think about it. I don't know. That's a tough
I'm going to
choice.
go with stuck in traffic because it feels like I'm that way anyways. So
slow
internet would drive me.
Yeah, it probably is the lesser of the two evils because internet connection, it's like instant frustration. You just can't talk. You're a robot and you do all kinds of weird stuff.
All right. So obviously the three of us, we got a little gray and white in our beard. So we remember the days where the computer made crazy sounds and it took forever just to get one picture. Just one picture.
Right.
Let alone streaming.
Yes. Oh, man. So I think the question was, do you want to live in New York City or Australia? I'd probably pick Australia. Although, no, after last year, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to be Australia. I used to want to live there. Let's see.
Other than the killer cane toads, the killer scorpions, the killer snakes, the killer, and of course, the lockdown.
I think I could put up with it.
Oh wait, can I say that? I might not be able to.
Yeah, you can put that up until there's something in your shoe, like a spider or a snake or something.
Yeah, I'd freak that out.
The dingoes.
Dingoes.
Osgreat Sage, man, thanks for coming by. He says slow internet. I'm used to it. So no, it's got to be traffic, because then I can yell at people. In slow traffic, you can just be like, "Come on," and get it out of your system.
It gives me more time to listen to podcasts, so it's fine.
Well, that's true. Music, yeah, whatever. Hail Panel, Hail Mo, and Crazy Mad. Yeah.
What up, Oz?
And the correct answer is traffic.
Yeah, I think that's the answer.
That's too good. That's fun. That was a good one, Crazy Mad. I like that one. Although I didn't hear my wife chime into that. She was in the chat. Now she's not in the chat. I heard her yelling in the background. So she's probably, busting one off in one of my kids somewhere. I don't know. Oh, something's happening. Hopefully. I just hope. That's my hope for the future.
Yelling in traffic is what she's doing.
Yeah. I don't think cane toads will hurt you unless you're eating them. Ooh. Ooh.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Not something I want to mess with.
Was it drop bears?
What's that?
Drop bears?
Drop bears.
Yeah, I think that's what they call koalas, isn't it? Like they drop out of trees and they hit you.
Oh, you might be right.
I
don't know if I've ever heard of that.
You gotta ask like Bancroft or Rob or somebody. So
yeah, we'll have to ask them. That's funny. That's awesome.
I feel like that would kill you if they fall on you.
You would, 50-pound bears, drop it on you.
That's cool. Well, Murph, do we have anything we want to share this week? I wanted to ask before we move into what we're here to talk about.
I mean, we do have new colored stuff. I don't know if you want to show whole pages, but you could definitely show an image or two.
Don't bring those people into that.
What?
You said colored stuff.
Yeah.
You shouldn't say
that.
You shouldn't say things like that.
What?
This isn't the 50s. Don't call them colored.
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing is you say that. Have you guys ever watched Blackish?
No.
So it's a show where it's a black family that are upper financially, so they're around more white people than regularly. And they do an episode at his job where they're saying what you can call black people or not.
Oh,
and they would say something, but then they would use something else. Like, so for colored people, they say, you can't say that. And then they're like, well, the NAACP is for colored people. He's like, oh, and they kept going off that. And it was really funny because it's like all those things you're not supposed to say are still in some of like the businesses.
Yeah.
And before like black people.
That's true.
I mean, really saying people of color, I mean, is that not colored people?
Well, now they even say like brown and black face, skins or colors.
Kevin, why'd you bring this topic up?
Yeah.
Why'd you do it? And then you just keep it going. You're perpetuating.
Video's going to be up for about 5 minutes, and then we're done.
We just lost like our whole chat. There it goes. All gone. It's all your fault.
Yeah. All the black members are mad.
Crazy Mad says, remember when it took 3 days to do a song?
Yeah, to download a song?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
LimeWire.
Oh, that was terrible. I hated those days. Just so you know.
I did make some badass mixed CDs back then. I will say.
Oh, yeah. I do miss those days when you could do that. And tapes.
No, awesome. I think Spotify's the greatest thing ever made. So, no, I would not want to go back to
You're the bane of my
existence. I don't use it yet. I work with guys that use it, but I still haven't really graduated to that level. I think it's because my phone, I still pay for data. So I don't really want to stream a lot unless I'm around Wi-Fi, and my work won't let me use their Wi-Fi. So what can you do?
Oh man, no.
Global
Kevin,
corporations.
you're the bane of my existence.
Hey,
you're the antithesis.
there's so many
to me.
artists and bands I probably would have never listened to if it wasn't for Spotify, because you're not gonna.
If it wasn't,
dude, it was like $20 a CD. Like, how do you can't afford it?
Right.
Huh?
Or if it wasn't for me, because I introduced you to a lot.
You've introduced me to music I don't listen to.
Whoa.
That's not true. That's not true. Oh boy.
Now let's change the subject.
Yeah, changes. So moving on, since Murph has no musical taste, no good musical taste. So this is a new page.
This is a good page to show, though. We're talking about fantasy because I think, horses always are a big part of fantasy for some reason. I don't know why, but
yeah. So this is this just got back to us. Well, actually today it got finished, and Dio once again did a wonderful job. You can see the coloring in the trees, how the base it's a little brighter, and as it goes up, it gets darker. He does some really cool stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm really loving just the overall palette. Although when he first sent this to me, he sent the Chariot in this real bright red color, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, it cannot be bright red. I wanted it to be muted.
Well, I think he did that too, because where the sun's in the sky too. But I do agree with you.
But it's still too bright. Yeah, I was like, no, this is not. I don't want it to be bright like that. So, Osgreat says, I remember playing strip poker on Commodore 64, and the picture took 1 hour to load, and it was green and pixelated. Oh my gosh,
strip poker.
Yeah. Murph, don't be brutal. Exactly,
nice.
Mo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
good choice of music, Mo.
And yet, Mo loves that song, and you guys still wouldn't play it. You knew he wanted it, and you still didn't do it.
Don't you worry. That's coming on the next. Whenever we do a full live stream of all of our music, that song will be on there. Don't worry.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, check out Ugly Tongue Music on YouTube, and you will see our live stream. And you can check out all that music.
Yeah, and Pedro from Tropical Magics, he was talking about getting a hold of some CG guys, CG musicians, and maybe do a project or something. So I don't know if you want to reach out to him. I made mention in my stream, or maybe it was afterwards, but I made mention to him a couple of people in CG that I've already talked to that are like, in musicians like yourselves. So
yeah,
might be something to talk about.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would like to collaborate on something like that. I think it'd be fun, especially if it was like a soundtrack to a comic or something like that.
Yeah, to a book for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So Mo says not playing it was a total Bancroft move, which means he means I'm gatekeeping the song. That's what he means.
Oh.
No, I'm not. It's just I'm choosing not to play it. Is that
Derek, what would Nicolas Cage do?
Yeah, what would Nick Cage do?
He would play the song.
No, I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't hold back.
I really don't know.
That's the opposite of Nick Cage.
He would
not go all in.
Yeah, he would go all in.
Thank you. Yeah.
He would go all in. All right. If anybody wants to get kicked, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now that we have these horses up, let's talk about fantasy. So the reason why we got together is because we all
I'm sorry.
really like fantasy, right?
Horse fantasy? What are we?
Yeah,
that's how you told me this would be about.
Yeah, there's really nice horses. That's why Kevin said, this is why you should pick the page, because it's got horses on it. So that's what I led in with. Did you like that?
Even Lord of the Rings, the horses have names, and you know what I mean? Animals are always a big part of fantasy.
It's not the first thing I think of with fantasy. No, it's not. So what's the first thing we all think of?
I guess swords, right?
What do we consider fantasy, and what is the first thing that we think of with fantasy?
I'd say it's either swords or armor or dragons.
Oh man.
Work
Look at
Brony confirmed. That is awesome.
I like how he tried to blame Murph on that. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know
it's
what?
all Murph talking about animals. That's what it was. It's
The
totally
chat-
Murph talking about
The
animals.
chat tells no lies.
They see everything.
So, okay. So back to the question. So, Aaron, you tell us what do you think of when you think of fantasy, and what do you consider to be fantasy?
I would say unique setting. Maybe something that we haven't seen before. Maybe something we have, but with a slight change or whatnot. Also, you're gonna have archetypes used pretty just everywhere. They're used constantly, which I love. Like hero, the hero archetype. You're generally gonna have your hero for sure, and I don't know. Really good fantasy makes you question a lot of things. Yeah, swords and sorcery. Woo!
What I'm laughing at
the best
because I
answer.
saw Mo's chat come through, and he goes, "Things you can't really see in reality, like horses,
Like
and
horses
trees."
and trees, and red carriages.
That is
Oh
awesome.
shoot, that's too good. Keep
But
going,
one
man.
of the things that I really like, elves and dwarves and shit, for sure. One of the things that I like about fantasy, though, is that you can play with politics, you can play with metaphors, allegory, all that stuff. The best fantasy are the things that you can relate to or that play on subjects that have really happened in life. So.
Right. I agree.
So where does fantasy and sci-fi disconnect? Like when you think of comic books, are they sci-fi or are they fantasy?
You took it all the way there already. Like I thought that was a heavy hitter, so I thought we'd wait on that one for a minute.
Say sci-fi fantasy, but sci-fi, of course, is just set in the future. But Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy for sure.
Well,
I guess Star Trek isn't. And I mean, it's still a fantasy. I mean, imagine having a futuristic, communism? What are they? Socialism, right. One of the two, but they never explain how their currency works. I just wanted to point that out.
Hold on to
right.
that thought.
I don't think they do have a currency, do they? It's just like
hold on to that.
Well, I know that the Ferengi do, but I don't know that the Federation actually has money. Somehow they are able to do everything.
Well, hold on a minute. I don't want to get into that too much yet, Murph, because I feel like you and I haven't identified what we think is fantasy yet.
I don't think I know when I think about it.
Okay. Like, so I felt like you jumped the gun on that question because I was like, wait a minute, we didn't even define all this yet. So let's come back to that because I feel like we'll get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll get back to sci-fi. So define fantasy to me, Murph, or to us.
You're saying me to define fantasy?
Yes, sir.
Aaron went. Now it's your turn. Let's go.
We're going.
When I think of fantasy, I think I'd probably say like chivalry.
Chivalry.
Yeah. Honor.
Virtue.
Virtue. Yeah, virtues. That's a good one.
Okay. I like virtue.
I think more of anything, it's like a feeling. It's like almost like a culture. I would say is what I think of fantasy. That it has to do with, I get,
you guys are getting more philosophical than me, I think. I mean, really, though, because, no, I agree with everything you guys have said. I think it's all those things, but I think it's also brutes and babes. It's,
good point.
It's, you know what I mean? It's dark and bloody, or it could be the high fantasy that we talk about, where it gets more into the sword and sorcery and like real elevated. I don't know what you would say.
You can't get much better than Conan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And
that's brutes and babes for sure.
Yeah, visually, Conan fits the bill all the time for me. But then I feel like Lord of the Rings is one side of fantasy, Conan is another. But then, there are other things that I'm going to get into in a minute that I feel like goes back to Murph's question. So that's why I'm having him wait. But Yeah, so I guess when I think of fantasy, I think it's almost anything that could. It's almost got a romantic side to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because Conan even has romanticism.
Oh yeah.
And that's I think
Valeria is a hot babe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just about men and women, but it's like you can think about like just the way the lore is presented and things like that. It's like this romantic feel to it, you know. Almost like it's stuck in medieval times, things like that.
You're not thinking about horses again, are you?
Kind of went through my head there, Murph. Went through my head, Murph. It really did.
Wait. Fantasy horse? What?
Okay, so what drew you to the fantasy genre?
Who are you asking?
Whoever wants to go.
Well, Aaron, you're the guest, so you can go first.
Let Aaron go.
Fair enough. Well, I remember seeing, since I brought up Conan earlier, I remember seeing Conan the Barbarian, and that movie sets so many standards for Murph to define words. It's a standard.
He's not wrong. He's not
wrong.
Movies like Conan the Barbarian, Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster stands.
All that stuff, it had a huge influence on me. And it wasn't until later when I was introduced to Dungeons and Dragons that I was able to play around in those kinds of worlds. So. Oh
yeah, right. Yeah, my brother used to play Dungeons and Dragons. Back in the 80s, man, like early on, whenever it came out. And I was always too little to play, and they would always like send me away because they were the cool kids and they got to play at the table, and I was the shit little kid that had to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they wouldn't let me do it, so it always frustrated me. But I always wondered about it, and never got to play until I became an adult. So
I never knew anyone who played it, so I never even got the chance.
The cool thing is my nephew, who's 14, 15. He is getting into it, and he's starting to become a dungeon master. He's starting to learn that kind of thing and really get into it heavy. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So he's come over a couple times, and we played it, and it's been a lot of fun. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
You're lucky that a dungeon master. What I can tell on social media, most people don't have a reliable dungeon master. So.
Well, I don't know if he's reliable. I just know we've been able to play, but hopefully he'll get there. I mean, he seems like he's really into it. So
good.
Okay, so keep going. What else is drawing you into the fantasy genre?
What's drawing me into it? I don't know. I guess part of it's escapism, but a lot of it is like you can tell so many different kinds of stories in a fantasy setting. So anything that you want to come up with, like I was kind of talking about earlier, like you can take modern problems and put them in fantasy settings. Or my favorite, you take philosophical questions and you put them into context. You'd be like, well, this is what that philosophy in action would look like. And you can really start conversations that way. And there's a lot of ways you can't do with like a romantic comedy.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Stay with the horses up. Stay away from romance.
No doubt.
There's a romantic comedy.
Let's just get the horses out.
Was Mr. Ed? Was that a romantic comedy the whole time?
Might have been.
You know what Murph thought.
In today's world, you got a man who's in love with his horse. You're probably gonna draw a big crowd on Twitter. Just saying.
Yikes. Yeah. Okay. So Murph, what draws you to fantasy? The fantasy genre.
I think I kind of like that you can have supernatural things in it. Like I like how Lord of the Rings always had, there's still this good and evil force that it might not be defined, but there are things that are in this world that are not seen. And there's pros and cons to both. For those who are on the side of evil, they do get something out of it. And so do those the side of good. And I mean, the one thing I always think of is in the second Lord of the Rings, the Two Tower, how it ends with Sam doing that whole quote about, we have something worth fighting for, and that there's some good in this world. And I think you get that more in fantasy than
definitely.
you do in any other genre.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other genres, there is there's some, look, the new Batman movie, there's really no such thing as good even in it. You know what I mean? There's just it's lesser evils a lot you get than actual good and evil. There's just gray and dark.
Well, even Batman in that movie, Batman, he was noble and all this stuff and what he was trying to do, but in the end, they also tainted him by saying that his bloodline had mental illness.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So that would mean that his whole facade is a case of mental illness, which of course dirties the virtue of him actually doing what he does.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's interesting because they kept asking about. I feel like there's only so much gray area you can keep asking about, because then where are we at here? Eventually you're asking, why are you telling a story? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Anymore? Because once you gray everything out, it has no more color. You know what I mean?
I literally sat here so my cat wouldn't meow. She could be next to me. And 20 minutes into this, she leaves, and now she's just meowing.
Oh, from the other room.
She's right over here.
Oh.
And now she's just meowing. And it's like,
she don't like you on TV, man. She don't like
we
you.
We have a tabby. The tabby's less than a year old, and at 5 a.m, when I usually start getting up for getting ready for work and everything, about 4:35 or whatever, you can hear the cat start meowing, just meow meow throughout the house. And on my days off, it really is annoying because I'm trying to sleep in,
Yeah, man.
Dude, not getting up.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so what draws me in is
I didn't finish my.
Oh, you're not done? You started talking about your cat.
What the hell? Talked about one thing of good versus evil.
Holy
and then that's
shit! Let's move it on.
I mean, that's a good one, but
oh yeah,
gosh. All right, let's go.
So why do I like fantasy?
You suck. You suck so bad.
I mean, the boobs are nice.
I would say, though, too, I kind of like that in fantasy you don't have guns. Because I feel like how many times in things are you watching where the good guys are just like Star Wars? They can't freaking hit anybody with their guns.
Yeah.
And then even like Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise has been shot at 1,000 times, has never been hit.
Can't hit him.
But I feel like you don't have that problem in fantasy. Because an arrow, you could be shot 100 times with the bow and arrow. That doesn't mean you're not going to get hit. But these movies with guns, it's like they'll be in a car and the car is freaking destroyed, and no one's. I like that too. I feel like it's more realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Than
just wing me. I'm fine.
Yeah. So I like that too.
Mo says Murph knows what you mean. That cat sounds like Dirk always meowing out the spoilers. That's the truth. You don't know how many spoilers I gave out in the last 2 episodes because you never watched them.
Oh, I didn't watch them either. I was so sick. I was just in bed.
You don't even watch a replay of your own show. I mean,
I did. I should just to get the views, right?
That's terrible.
2 more views.
Yeah, at least give me a view, man. Terrible.
Yeah,
you're terrible.
I don't like. Did you even go?
I don't feel bad about spoilers at all.
I didn't like.
God. Look at this mess we have on our hands. Look at this mess. More spoilers. Okay. So I'm drawn to fantasy. Can I go now, Murph?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
For the Brutes and Babes. I already said that before. No, I'm just kidding. It's not just Brutes and Babes. I do like that. But usually because it has a focus on a singular hero. I do like that a lot of times. The singular hero usually has a lot of great qualities that I like or that you can live out, even if you don't think that you could see yourself being that way all the time. Like Conan, I don't think he's always good. You know what I mean? I love to read about him, but would I ever act like Conan? I don't think I could ever see myself acting like Conan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Conan's a jerk at times, and you're great at that, Derek.
Well, hey! Well, I'm halfway there.
Halfway there. Yeah.
No, but the truth of it is, I like the settings. I like the feel of it. I like that grittiness and the feeling that things can be settled in a more simple way than things can be now.
Yeah.
And, you know, like now you have to, it's almost too civilized, it feels like. Not that I want the Wild West or anything like that. But, you know,
as Obi-Wan said after he killed General Grievous, he threw the pistol down. He goes, so uncivilized.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, well, you know, with the swords, it's one-on-one. You know, with a gun, you're shooting at a distance. Maybe you got cover, maybe you don't. You know,
right.
You can always miss because it's a movie. But with a sword, you know, like you have to cross blades. You know, and that's primal.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's more primal. It's more gritty.
Steel meets steel.
Yeah, exactly. It's more manly. It feels more manly.
Going back to like the gun, like I love Lethal Weapon and Die Hards, but their fight scenes are like two people are in cover trying to shoot at each other. Mm-hmm. Where again, that's not as fun as like a sword fight is, or even just
fights are fun, but yeah, it's not the same thing.
It doesn't look as good either.
No.
I mean,
you have to make them duck and run and
look at Troy with Brad Pitt's character. I can't even think who his character is. Achilles, yeah.
Yeah.
Like his fighting scenes are freaking amazing.
Well, just that first opening scene is badass.
No, his Hector fight's awesome.
It's not nearly. I think the first opening scene is probably the best. Yeah, his intro is the best.
Yeah, where he does the slide, and then.
Well, it's that jump he does, and then he just takes the knife at the guy, and then it goes in one time, and then he's done. And he goes and he walks past the guy, and the guy don't even know what the hell hit him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and just that quick, that guy was done. And yeah, it was a great scene. I love that scene.
So there's been some good things in the chat. Like Mo said, Murph, you missed
I want to cover this. So Crazy Mad says Crazy and Dirk Duke It Out has a nice ring to it. So I agree. I totally agree.
Fight.
So Crazy Mad was with me on a draw stream, and he hung out with me and was talking, which was a lot of fun. And you know, he was the only one chilling and hanging. So I was like, you know, about time to replace Murph. we can just have Crazy on all the time. See you, Murph.
You're fired.
Yeah. Well, we may have to do that sometime where we have like a guest take over for one of us or something.
I think that's awesome. I think that's a great
fun
idea.
time.
That is fun.
It is a good idea.
Well, Mo says that you had a dramatic reading of the Ballad of Celestial script.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm ripping out my headphones. Yeah.
We'll do the audio.
Mo, you're telling on me. Why'd you do that? Kevin was sick. He never was going to find out, but you had to put it out there to everybody. Why did that happen?
Raiden Radio just got here, and he's already saying to drop Murph. I guess he's talking about the.
Nope. Out. All gone. See you later. Bye-bye.
I don't know why. I think it's the funniest thing in the world, even when it happens to me.
It's so fun.
Because like there's nothing you can do about it. It's the best thing ever.
It is so fun. Raiden Radio, thanks for joining us, man.
What's up, Raiden?
But yeah, what Osgreat says here, I do like that.
One is a hero. Civilization is filled with greedy curs.
For real.
Yeah.
Ancient and wicked.
Yeah.
I like that too. Well, like how people's words matter. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? The whole thing of good and evil, like where people will stand to their word, you know?
Yeah.
Like, look
and Conan, I feel like Conan is the great purifier. You know what I mean? Like, really, he purifies people right then and there. Like, he'll take it right out. He cuts that shit down to the quick, and it's done. And then people don't mess around no more.
That's what I like with Last Kingdom. Like, even though the king kept screwing him around, he's like, it's my word.
Oh
So I
gosh,
got
I
to do
love
this.
that
And it's
show.
like,
I've heard about that show. I haven't seen it yet.
I will say it's probably the best show out on Netflix.
Yeah,
I
keep
love
hearing
it
it
so
dropped.
much.
Yeah.
The reason I love it, they stay true to the character for one thing. The character really, all
And
the
what's
way
that
through.
based on?
It's based on some books.
Okay.
But it's of the same name. But
it's basically during the whole Vikings versus Catholics.
Yeah, the Danes, when the
frame.
Danes tried to take over England while England was forming. And so I just feel like he stays so true from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, and they don't modify him at all. Like, he only changes in relationship, not in character.
Yeah.
Which is what I love. I was like, oh, he's still the same guy, but he's got, he might have children now, or he might have, he has a wife, or he has a new woman or something. And so his relationships change, but he does not in his core change. And I love it. I just love what they did with it. I'd watch that thing over and over and over. I'll probably watch it until they take it off of there.
Nice.
So
how many seasons?
Yeah. 5?
5, yeah, 5 seasons. It should be longer. It really should.
Wow. Sometimes though, then you get fillers when you try to, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if Walking Dead didn't do 10 seasons.
I feel like there's probably a lot they could do with it.
But I lost track of Walking Dead after like season 4 or something.
Let's see, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't going anywhere.
But let's be honest. Walking Dead, it's the same thing over and over and over again. They just
that's true.
What do you do? You know what I mean?
I think
once you get through 5 seasons,
the best episode, or probably the best 2 episodes that I can just think of off the top of my head of the first couple of seasons, was the reveal of the little girl that they were searching for. That turned out to be
that was a great episode.
That episode dropped my jaw and got my buddy. He saw me watching it for the first time and didn't know anything about what was going on, and turned him on to it because he's like, "Dang, what's going on?" And then another one, probably where Shane turned. Like those 2 were probably the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Those were great seasons.
But I didn't watch it all.
Seasons.
I just watched the first couple.
Here's the thing, Derek. You say, what else could they go? What I was hoping they were going to do, but they never did it, is when they started, after they went to Alexandria and they had the kingdom and they had, I thought it would have been cool if they started to then do it where you have like little kingdoms that would fight against each other. And they didn't do that. And I thought that
I agree with you on that. But they didn't follow the books that much, and so they kind of went on their own little tangent, and I think that's what got them into.
They followed a lot of the books, really.
But
except for what happened with Rick and with Carl.
With a lot of, Daryl wasn't even a character. You know what I mean? I mean, they've done some things that they've taken that on their own. You know?
Yeah, no, that you're right. Daryl and his brother were not characters.
So I have a question for you. Would you consider The Walking Dead a fantasy or a sci-fi?
See, to me, I always thought sci-fi had to do something with science. Like, for instance, I thought the X-Men were considered sci-fi because it's their genes.
Yeah.
But would they be considered more fantasy? Like,
I don't know.
I think it depends on how you look at it, right? Well, I consider zombies sci-fi or horror sci-fi, right? But it can also be considered fantasy because it's like in a dystopic world, right?
Well, okay. So are superheroes fantasy or sci-fi? Are they heroes because of
question?
What's up, Amanda B?
I think that's a good question.
Hey, you know what I mean? Because all of them have superpowers because of something in science. Something changed.
I will say, so my opinion, I would just agree with the X-Men are sci-fi. Because I remember, the 90s X-Men and everything, and all of the high tech that they constantly introduced in the story.
Yeah. Oh, they could definitely be sci-fi.
And genetics.
And they're talking about genes. Yeah, genetics.
Yep.
So
they have their genes. They're in space all the time. They're in time travel all the time, dealing with aliens.
They're high-tech ships and tech and all that stuff. Sure.
If the virus is made in a lab, it's sci-fi. Okay. And most superheroes would be sci-fi.
I would call it Walking Dead horror fantasy, but fair enough.
Horror fantasy. Yeah, that's kind of where I go.
Right.
Sci-fi. Yeah. I could go to sci-fi because they do talk about labs. But I feel like it could be either or, and I think it depends on what you're focusing on. But I mean, even our story, Murph, what would you consider ours? It's fantasy, but is there some sci-fi to it?
I think there's going to be a lot of sci-fi in it, honestly.
Yeah, me too. It's not going to be the sci-fi everybody thinks, but I think it's going to be definitely going to have some sci-fi elements to it.
Yeah, I mean, but there's going to be fantasy, like the whole good and evil, and there's
Right.
stronger powers at will is going to be a part though too. Like,
Sure.
again, so like, is the Matrix, is that sci-fi or fantasy? Like, what he's able to
That's a good
do,
one.
is that fantasy or is that
that's
sci-fi?
that's sci-fi. No, the fantasy
It's-
part that you're talking about is the philosophy. Is very
Yeah,
Gnostic.
yeah.
It comes off
Yeah.
as from like the Gnostic, religion kind of stuff. But I hear what you're saying for sure. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I mean. I think it depends on how you look at it and what you're.
because you got to look at the
questioning.
setting
And-
with all the tech and
Yeah.
the coding and the programs.
Right.
Like, oh, even those crows over there are programs that
Yeah.
were set on a path or whatever. Yeah.
Which brings me right back to the sci-fi question. See what I mean? So I brought us around full to your question, Murph, which is where does that line be drawn? See, and I think that's hard to answer. Look at He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Is that sci-fi or is that fantasy?
I would say fantasy, but I don't know enough about it.
That's pretty. I mean, that's a good mixture of the two for real, because they
It really
have
is. Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
very much both.
Yes, they do. It's very sci-fi at times, and then it's very fantasy. Like
To me,
Okay.
that's like pure 70s, like late 70s, early 80s fantasy. Like
yeah,
you're opening up a issue of heavy metal, but for kids.
yeah, right, man. I love He-Man. I love it.
Me too.
I love the concept of it. I don't love the cartoon that much, but I
Well, the
love
Kevin
concept.
Smith one was just meh. My
No.
my son
I
really
mean, even
liked
the '80s
other
cartoon.
one.
You know what I mean?
the anime kind of one
Yeah.
that came out
Yeah,
also
early
my
2000s.
son really liked that one. Yeah. With Ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was more the action figures and the
Yes.
comic books that came with the action figures.
For real. Yeah, that
So-
art. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
On the little comics that you get with each character and everything, for sure.
Yes.
I had
And
the
if you
Captain
read those,
man, I loved it.
me too. I had it too. And I'm going to tell you, the comic books that came with that were fantastic, and the art
Yes.
in them was fantastic. And it
For real.
was, it was a little more on the fantasy side than the sci-fi at that point. But it was that dark fantasy, and it felt dark.
Yes. Yep.
It could have easily made it for adults. you
Yeah.
know?
You could have,
So-
for
Really?
sure.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I get out of it. Brent has the book, Kevin, so we'll have to get him to get you that book so you can look at it again. Osgray says one easy distinction would be if the story is set in the future or the past. That's true.
For sure.
Why can't a future story be fantasy though?
It's Cray out here. I'm about to switch you places. I don't know what she's talking about. This is what
It's
I was
Cray.
telling you. This is my wife. She was
Classic
having some.
Casey.
Yeah,
Classic Casey.
she's dealing with something out there. I told you. She
Got
was.
kids crawling
Yeah,
on
man,
her,
something.
pulling on her.
Well, my kids are too big. Although they may do that to her.
Is Transformers sci-fi or fantasy?
Haha.
Okay, that's a good one too. That's excellent. That's an excellent one.
Isn't
I feel like it's
Cybertron
sci-fi. I feel like it's sci-fi, but it could be mixed with fantasy because, it does take Earth and put it into this kind of, I don't know,
Okay,
like a what-if
here-
scenario.
Here's a better thing though. Transformers Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
Is
I
that
knew
fantasy?
where you're going with that one.
That's a good one. I don't know that. I don't know as much about that one.
Them being robots, is only a part of the story. Most of the story is not that. So
Yeah. So I think you can have
almost think
fantasy.
that's kind of the line of fantasy, and I'd say that's 50-50 Transformers, honestly.
Yeah.
Because even like
Yeah.
Optimus,
I agree.
his character is very fantasy. Like
Oh yeah.
the way his point of view is.
well,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? He's a classic.
He's an
That's
That's what I
archetype.
mean.
Yeah.
That's why I think some of these genres, they really blur those lines between sci-fi fantasy, and it is hard to distinguish between the two. But Mo says, I think you can have a fantasy in the future if everything happens to be magical instead of technological. And yeah, I would agree with that.
Well,
I agree with that too.
Yeah. And they're trying to do that at the MCU with all, technology, you know, or magic you don't understand is just technology you haven't figured out yet or something, whatever they're trying to say with Thor.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, it's technology you don't understand is what magic is.
Right. If you want to experience classic fantasy, check out Mariah Carey with the ODB.
The funny thing is that quote works with magicians.
Fantasy baby.
Like those magic shows
That's free. I'm not charging for that
one. Like when you think about it, magic shows work because magic shows worked because they had technology that people didn't know. Like that's how magic shows started. Right. So
look at this. Mo says you stumped me. I had too much self-respect to watch Beast Wars.
Dude,
that was like one of the first CGI shows, right?
Cartoon.
It was.
Yeah, it was like one of the first ones, right?
Yeah,
it really was.
So that's cool. I mean, it broke around that way, but
bad CGI. First CGI.
Give your eyes cancer, no doubt. That's funny. Go back now and look at it. It probably does look pretty rough.
Yeah,
I'd like to see it.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda B says, to me, if it involves science, robots, chemicals, internet, electronics, technology, it's sci-fi. Fantasy lacks it. Ooh, nice.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Wait, though, wouldn't fantasy still have technology, though?
But what about He-Man?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it kind of blurs.
Because isn't just making swords and steel and armor science?
Well, I would say, how about this one? So Star Trek is sci-fi. Like that's clearly sci-fi. And you could have sci-fi fantasy, which, you know, would be Star like Wars. A He-Man or Star Wars. For sure, Star Wars. Yeah. But straight sci-fi is kind of what we're not really hitting on. And
sci-fi Terminator is straight sci-fi.
Yep.
It is sci-fi, yeah.
It lacks the fantasy.
And it's talking about future too.
Where magic explains something.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Okay, so Amanda asks, "What's the question of the week? Would you rather always get stuck in traffic or always have a slow internet connection?" Amanda, what is it? Let's hear it. Which would you rather have?
I do realize that we figured out he's a genie. That's why he asked these questions. He wants us to use 3 wishes.
He's a djinn trying to.
Yeah, he's a djinn. And that was great with the whole tiger thing and everything.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
He's a djinn.
So armorers were on the cutting edge of technology for their time. I know, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I think fantasy and sci-fi really they blend well all the time. You can do both, and it's really hard sometimes to define. Which I think it was a great question that you had there. That's why I didn't want you to jump on it too early. What the F kind of question is that? Crazy? Yeah, exactly. She goes, I don't want either.
I love that that's the one that's too far for Amanda. Like he had one about like your mother or daughter being a stripper, but this was too far for Amanda.
And my wife was offended by the stripper one. She was like, "What the hell, crazy?" Yeah, that was too far. She even said,
Amanda's
I think she said something like
traffic and slow internet, screw that. Too far.
I love it. So you don't want either, but you got to pick one, Amanda. You have to pick one. That's what kind of show this is.
Well, she's on the spot now. She has to pick one.
Yeah, you have to.
We're all waiting for her.
You can't just throw them both away.
Just keep it up there till it's.
That's right. You have to make a choice. That's the way it is. Well, hey, we're getting at the top of the hour. Let's get into Aaron's project.
Yes. Wait a second. I think my family might be coming through just a second.
Oh, cool. Okay.
All right, quiet.
Crazy Mad says, it doesn't matter, Amanda. You'd be wrong no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what you say, you're wrong.
He always does that to her everywhere. He always says
thank you for giving me a couple minutes to talk about the book.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of a crowd here, and everybody's going to watch later. So I wanted to point out I have 2 issues of the book done.
Awesome.
The first issue was done by an artist that is not Jose Garcia, and Jose Garcia does the rest of everything. So, what I wanted to do after I started doing the streams and trying to network and market better, one of the things that pointed, that was blaringly obvious to me was that I had to use Jose for everything because one, his talent is phenomenal. Yeah, two, he has such a great name recognition already. And so what I wanted to do was have him go back and redo all of issue 1. So starting in June, he's going to, I'm going to rewrite some stuff, try to make it a little bit better. And he's going to redo it all. And we've already got issue 2. So issue 1 should be, well, I mean, I guess we also have issue 1, but with only this time with his art style. So it should be hopefully quick for him to put it all. I mean, I say quick, but Jose's already fast.
Right.
Yeah, like a page an hour or whatever.
Yeah, man.
But he's super quick. But
that's awesome.
He put out like 50 pages for me in a month.
That's
less,
awesome.
or not less than a month. It's about a month or so. We'll give a week or not. But anyways, I wanted to share this. Let's see if I can. I had some art from issue 2, not issue 1, because it's the old artist. So we're going to
call that up. I'm going to say what Amanda picked. So
all right, fair enough.
Amanda picked Traffic, and she goes, but I would work damn hard to avoid it. Different times, routes, something.
Amanda,
that's what I said.
Can't avoid it.
Casey said I would just take a nap during both those situations. That is true. She probably would. And then Amanda's choice was more difficult than Sophie's choice. And she's saying I'd even move, although I already live in the middle of nowhere.
Doesn't matter where you
real
move.
Hard to avoid it.
When Crazy Match Gin's against you, it's following you.
Oh my gosh!
There'd just be ducks on the road. And
I think he's just against you. He's going to pluck you out of the seat.
There we go.
And put himself there. Okay, you got it ready?
I do. Finally.
All right, here we go. Let's put it there.
Ooh.
Nice.
This beautiful piece of work. This is the cover for issue 2. We've already been introduced to the main group. We've got the guys in the back here. That's the main group. I introduced a new character in issue 2. That's this guy here. And their first real task together is some monsters are attacking a village. So pretty basic kind of role-playing game stuff. But a lot's going on because of all of their personalities. They really don't mesh very well in certain ways. So it's your classic 5-man band kind of trope, but I think I do it pretty well. And then
that's what we got.
Yeah. So let's go ahead a little bit. So here you can see some of the beautiful coloring and just the basic design. This is me introducing this character here. He's a wizard, and we get to know his daily life. Of course, you got the first part of the first act kind of thing. And then moving forward, this is him. He's a bit panicked, but look at these panels. I mean,
very dynamic, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, that's Jose, right?
That's what he's great at, man. He really is.
Just that
dynamic angles.
So, and here we see the party at a distance. They see.
Isn't that called? That's the Dutch angle, right?
Is that
top panel?
That's a really nice shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they call the Dutch angle.
That's hot. I did not know that.
That's cool.
I mean, the man is very skilled. So, and then moving on, I love this part. They're like, oh, we got goblins. We got to do something, right? And of course, they are not a fleshed out team. They haven't worked together very long. They barely get along. And we get to see what that turns into.
Oh, cool.
So here we've got some more of the goblins attacking the village and the team trying to take care of them, take them out in a way, or at least save some people. This one I love. Look at this beautiful splash page.
Yeah, man, that's nice.
So this one, the wizard finally comes forth and he helps out the party. And I give a bunch of narration. For me, the narration is basically the 6th character. I wanted to approach it from a very fantasy novel kind of approach, and so there's a bit of narration, but I think it works well.
I love seeing the guy with the arrows like below the wizard looking up at it. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I don't know if you can see here, he's collecting arrows because he runs out. In this scene, he's like, oh, damn, I'm out of arrows. because he's a quick shot. He's he's a master shot and all this other stuff, ranger, and of course if you've ever played an RPG, one of the dangers of being a ranger is you can run out of arrows. So he has to face that. Thankfully, he has this wizard step in and rock the world. So
that's awesome.
And then here again, we've got the big baddie, the mini boss, I guess. He's an ogre, just pissed off. He's like, here we go. This is later. I wanted to show this one because I really liked some of the attention to detail. See if I can zoom in on like the spell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that.
Get real. That's some great pattern work. So
that's crazy, man.
And the coloring and everything is gorgeous. But
yeah, that's amazing stuff. So man. That's harder than anybody knows. That pattern work. I've done stuff like that for us too, but not as intricate as that. And just the little bit that I've done, it takes so much effort, man. I don't think anybody realizes.
I believe it.
So for him to pull that off is just so gorgeous.
You wear out your ruler.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. It's awesome.
And then moving forward, let's see if I can figure out how to work this. There we go. And so this is all right. The other part was the first level party kind of group, right? And we see them trying to survive in the setting, in the plot, and everything, where they're all crammed together. They don't know each other very well, if at all. They're all strangers. They're fated to be together, and they're finding out that they're on a strange world. They're surrounded by monsters. Nice. And they're in a war that they are not aware of yet. And so what I did was I have a supplemental story. It's about 10 pages, whereas the other one's like 30 or 5 or 40 or something like that. And then this one is I tried to keep it strict to 10 pages. But in the Knights of Locutus, so you have Immortal Rising. Down here you got Knights of Locutus. What this story talks about is the gods and how the first level characters kind of get into the world of war that they're involved in. Like, what is going on? How did we get here? I wanted to show how that happens. I wanted to show from the perspective of the gods. And here we've got two of the gods, the Knights of Locutus that we follow throughout at least the beginning arc of that sub-story. We've got the god of war, Listo, and the god of magic, Erickson. So, and they're buddies. They're knights of the demiurge that they serve, the name Locutus. That's the creator god of basically all this stuff. So, moving forward, look at this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, wow.
I mean, look at that. That is just gorgeous.
Sheesh, man.
I mean, come on.
Well,
you can't go wrong.
The way he uses the palettes, man, the palette of color, it's incredible.
Yep. And we had talked, the original sequential artist had done a very kind of watercolor look, and I really like that. I thought that it lends itself well to the fantasy space that I was trying to do, the epic high fantasy kind of look.
Yeah.
And I think he blows it out of the water, of course, here. So, but also,
I really like it, man.
So this is the god of magic here, or a god of magic, or whatever.
Like constellations.
Yes.
Is that its cape?
That is so cool.
That's his robes. Yes, that's his robes. He's such a wizard that he's basically just robes, a magical staff that you can see, which is huge and crazy. And then he also has a magical mask that he wears, which we see in the first issue. He puts on, but it's not. I don't have that page right here. But, and then we pull out my mouse.
Why do I make comics again? Wait a minute. What? I mean, huh?
And then here we go. Here's some more. So this is talking. This is them talking. So they are outside of the world that our main characters were all brought to, and here we see them trying to figure out what happened, because they don't understand that the reader does kind of early on, is that the demiurge, the creator god, is under attack. He's under siege by his enemy, kind of like his Thanatos, right? His death urge. He created this being who now wants to see everything that he's created destroyed, and he's become very powerful and has nearly killed the creator god. And so these guys are like, what is going on? Why is so much activity going on at this world? So they go to visit it. And this is them kind of like orbiting outside of it in like an astral form. And then here we've got, look at this guy. So this guy is a protector, basically the main protector god of the world that they're looking at. They're like, he's like, oops, pull back a little bit. He's like, why are you, who are you and why are you attacking my world, right? They're like, dude, we're not. We're the good guys. And it turns out, they find out, little spoiler in the story, is that Listo, the god of war here, and this protector god Andronicus, they had actually worked together in the past, but it had been so long that they didn't recognize each other right at first. So then they're like, wait a minute, I know you. Hey, I know you too, kind of thing.
So let me ask you before you go any further.
Sure.
When he presents a page to you, does he thumbnail it for you, or does he give you a rough, or do you get the final and then he just goes, here you go?
Actually, I love it when he has just a beautiful final page and everything. But he does give me, he gives it to me in the first stage. He's like, this is what I'm trying to do. Obviously it's not all finished and everything. Sure. And actually this one up here, this top panel was kind of both of us, because he had I had it at a different angle, but he didn't really know how to do this black door, which is what that is behind him. He basically portals in, and so I kind of described it a little bit better. But
it's kind of interesting. It looks like the Milky Way opening up,
right?
You know what I mean? That's what it looks like to me. Oh, yeah. It looks like space. It's really cool.
And the way I approach it, from hashtag just a writer kind of view, is like, I'm going to put down what I can. We're going to hash out a little bit, but mostly I'm going to let the artist express it the way he wants to. And I think that, I haven't been disappointed with Jose yet. So there was only like for instance, on this shot, I think the only thing I said was like this piece here, where it's like a sun and a moon together. That is the character's holy symbol. So I was like, how about we change that a little bit? But the rest of it, I mean, that was, that's basically, that's all Jose, And I'm not, you don't interrupt somebody when they're doing something great.
Oh yeah, man.
So, but moving on a little bit. So they have a conversation. They're like, hey, I know you. And so, since it was this character, Andronicus, and this character, Listo, who had been on an adventure together, which was actually played by players and everything like that, Erickson wasn't there. And so Listo kind of explains to him what was, what had happened and what was going on. And this is a part of that. There were angels and demons. Like, here's one of my favorite lines. It says, so many angels and demons fell from the sky that day.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So, and that's just fun. That's just real fun. And cool. And this one, this was a small panel, and he had drawn it up, and he had gone in a different direction than I liked. I was like, I don't really think that explains, the dynamic part of the story. And he came back with this. I probably didn't even say it that way, but seeing what he did with it, you can see it's like it's way that's more awesome. Dynamic and just better to look at, So whenever that happens, Jose is always comes back with something better. So, and I think that's the last. Yeah, that's the last one.
Okay. So I saw you have the sign up page.
Yes.
And
what I'm doing with that, sorry to interrupt. What I'm doing with that is I'm going to use that more as a mailing list collector, so that I can collect everything. And when I do launch, hopefully we'll have enough of the book, the first issue, completed, so that even if it's not complete, I can have examples of what the first issue will look like. And not only that, but also you can see I very much mean what I'm doing, because
oh yeah, man,
second issue done.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
And you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to be finished.
How'd the first artist take it? Like, did you have your new artist basically do everything that the first book had? Is it his own interpretation? Like, how, just because of time and everything?
We haven't really gotten to that point, because he said that he's finishing up some stuff. He's made a comment about well, the first one's done, so I can basically just I wouldn't say that he's going to copy it, but he could use that as a reference point and all that stuff. But I think what I want to do is I want to reevaluate how I told the story, the comic book form, and then I think I've gotten better, because I think I wrote this thing like 5 years ago, the first one, so. I think I've gotten a little bit better understanding of what the market wants, and so I'm going to reinterpret the script, and hopefully we can brainstorm some ideas of things that will look even better. And then with him and his cinematography, I guess I don't know how else to put it, but just his eye and on angles and whatnot, I'm just going to trust.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you're building up. When do you think that you'll launch? You're going to wait completely for the first issue, or
I want to, but I might. I'm pretty impatient, so I may not wait that long. I may just wait until I start getting enough art to show, and then I can replace some of the other artists' work. And just go from there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I think that the proof that I'm going to finish is there. The fact that I've already got the second one completed and paid for.
Sure. So. Now, how many books will this be?
Well, I'm doing it in 3-book arcs. So the first arc is 3 books where the team we see them in their normal life. Then we see the conflict, and we see them dealing with that conflict, which leads into the second book where they're all. They are, the way I wrote this is kind of like a high fantasy survival book. The fact that they have to survive in this world of monsters and war and gods, it's not their choice. They didn't choose to do this. They're not, they don't feel like they're, the chosen ones or anything like that. They're stuck in this position, and they have to make the best of it. And, just kind of pulled. A lot of my influence kind of came from my younger life, feeling like, you get kicked out of the nest or whatever, and now you got to fly. You got to figure out what you're doing. And your best friends at the time are the ones that you try to rely on the most. And I kind of, I try to reference that kind of idea when dealing with this party, because they are young, inexperienced. They're all first level, right? And they all have to figure out their strengths and weaknesses, and how to overcome all that stuff to work together to survive. Like, the bottom line is you got to survive in a world of monsters. What are you going to do? So
that's good. I like that, man. Yeah, I can't wait to see it whenever it comes out. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So very nice.
For the gods, is it something? Are the gods? Did you make them up? Is it a hodgepodge? Is there any type of?
They're all former characters. So everybody that is in the books. So it's all based on 25 years of playing in the same continuous Dungeons and Dragons homebrew story.
That's awesome.
It's the same characters that we started from when we were teenagers. I just try to translate it into actual story format instead of, if you've ever played the game, that you don't always stay to a story because it's all improv. Like, you don't stay to a strict story structure. Sure. Some people go off on tangents and it kind of skews off, but a lot of times you can find gems in that way where new things come up where you didn't plan on. Like, I mostly am the dungeon master, so and I have been for a cajillion years. But I'm not the forever DM, because other people, they do DM. But anyways, so all of these characters are based on actual played characters, actual played events, and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
I love that. I always wanted to try to.
Dragons have gods?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they pull on different mythologies. Like you can play in any culture, any mythology that you want. Like we just made up our own. But of course, when you get into gods and archetypes like that, they kind of bleed together in a way. You know, like you look at some of the pagan gods of the Greeks. You know, of course, the Romans took the Greek stuff, but the Romans took everybody's stuff. You know, even Christian stuff. So, but a lot of the pagan gods, they're pretty similar in different aspects, but in the same, you know, same spheres. You know, like for instance, you take Thor, and if you trace back the etymology and everything, it's pretty much Indra from Hindu, because you know Hindu Aryan in the beginning. So they took their gods in the Proto-European ages, and hey, over here he advanced in this way, over there that archetype advanced in that way. So it's pretty interesting, but you get the idea. Not to go on a rant.
I always wanted to design the avatars for some of the characters. I always thought it'd be cool to do that.
Yeah, for real.
It's fun. I mean, a lot of people, that's what they like now. You know, they want an actual fleshed out avatar. They don't want just to have it on paper anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, so and what's really funny cool. is that's kind of how and where I met Jose. Was I met him in I think it was in like a Facebook group or something, and I put out a net to find a sequential artist. I talked to probably 50 plus artists, and he said that at that time he was doing commission work for a lot of D&D commissions, like you know people just wanted their characters done, and he was saying that a lot of his commission work was D&D characters, and so him doing this just you know fit naturally. In fact, I mean that's one of the, like I think I looked up his art. It was like ArtStation or DeviantArt or something like that, and I looked up his page, and I saw medieval fantasy work, and I'm like, boom, you know that looks you know obviously
it's awesome,
amazing. Yeah. So,
well,
I just wish I had found him about a year earlier.
That's cool.
Man, I really wish I had gotten to Dungeons and Dragons. That sucks that I never.
Hey, it's never too late.
Do it.
It's never too late.
And Brent loves to play games, so he would probably love it.
Especially now, you got like programs and you got Zoom or StreamYard or whatever. Back in the day, it was hard because you had to know the people. You had to like make sure that you scheduled the time. You know, all my players, thankfully, are longtime friends, and we've been playing as a table for I don't know 15 years now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's crazy.
Keep you together.
Yeah, that's good. Well, hey, so if you guys like what you're seeing, go sign up for Immortal Rising on Indiegogo.com.
Blue light special.
Yeah, it is. It's a blue light special. That's right. What do you mean? Why is it messed up?
Oh, so Aaron, you don't know.
Murph never knew what a blue light special was.
Okay.
Yeah, most people don't.
Do you know what it is?
Kmart.
Murph is stupid.
Yeah. Well, maybe Murph didn't grow up poor. I don't know. You know, you go to Kmart, you get made fun of because your GI Joes are generic, like part of their torso is backwards or something. Yeah,
that's right. So Osprey says, "Do DMs slide into other DMs?" No, yes. But yeah. So Murph never knew what a blue light special was. We had to learn him.
I don't remember that ever happening in Kmart.
And did you see the blue light special in our trailer or in our intro? So it started off with a blue light special, and it ended with the sign of the blue light special.
Oh, nice! I missed that part.
I'm gonna play it again because people asked for it, and I think it's a good time. So we're gonna play it one more time. So thank you for sharing your project, man. But we're not leaving yet. But we'll play the intro, and then we'll get out of here.
Thanks for giving me time. Like this is probably one of the best shills that I've done for my stuff. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Oh yeah, definitely come back on when it starts man. Too.
Oh yeah,
I'll have you on.
So you're on my stops.
Okay, so here we go. Apex Comics showed up. I'm sorry, I got to show him for a second. It's not coming up. There we go.
Hell,
Hey,
Apex.
Murph Dirk, Aaron, and the mighty chat. How you doing, Apex? And this says we didn't see the DWAG video.
What's that?
I don't have the DWAG video.
What's the DWAG?
Oh, he wants me to share what he did, his voiceover. I got to get that copied. So let me see if I can go back and do that. I'll see if I can do that.
Did he send it to you?
Yeah, he sent me the link, but I couldn't get it off of here. I'm going to have to go to the YouTube channel and copy it from there.
No, that's cool.
So, yeah, just give me a minute. So we'll play that right now. I'll play the intro. Here we go. If you missed it at the beginning, we're going to play it.
There it is.
Hey. So did you see it at that time?
I did.
Dude, that slap too. The whole crowd, you hear them go, "Oh!" That guy was knocked
That's
out.
why I did it, because I was like, it's a blue light
sport?
special.
Don't they have like the Russian slap sport or something like that?
I don't. Is it American? Is that?
Yeah, it's a Russian
Maybe
slap
you're right.
contest.
Thank
It's
you,
a
Oz.
Russian
I
slapping
appreciate it.
contest. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but yeah. So great intro. That's what Mo says. Thanks, Mo.
Yeah.
He goes, it's the opposite of the ugly. Oh, see, here we go, Kevin. This is your fault, man. Your fault,
It's not
Kevin.
my fault.
Yes, it is. It's your fault. No Chook. Well, not yet.
Shoot.
We're developing Chook. Chook will make a return. So that's the good thing is right now we have some really great lore for our show. And
Love it.
So we're starting to build, but it's
Yes.
getting there. It's just we're slow on the uptake. We're slow getting it done.
Slow and steady wins the race, buddy.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to be. Because man,
That's what I tell myself.
yeah. So it's the black and blue light special. There you go.
Black
How to
and
do
blue.
that. Slap
Slap
Mountain.
Mountain.
Yeah, man, that dude is rough.
It is funny though with
Imagine-
the technique, because some people it's like just a smack, and some people it's like almost like a punch how they do it. Like
I wonder if that guy
Yeah.
had a friggin' eyeball
You're
left
right.
when he got slapped that hard. That dude was
Yeah.
little.
yeah,
Bruce Lee said, you gotta put your hip into it. If you're not putting your hip into it,
he put everything into that. That guy took the
Okay.
table with him too. Like the
The
table
1-inch
was
slap?
going down.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm going to play the DWAG video. And so I'm going to share that right here. Can you guys see that? All right. So here we go. So this is what Mo was talking about. So let me put this on. Let me
Big
know
screen?
if you can't hear it.
Can you big screen it?
Yes.
I have
Let me
bad
back it
eyes.
up. And let me know if you can't hear it, please.
All right.
Hey, DWAG is going
Can
to
you-
Comic-Con. That is such exciting and relevant news. Saying if I was a complete fucking nerd, so going to Comic-Con. This calls for a celebration. It's time to pop a bottle. Pop a bottle of W-Weeb 40 and Naruto Run. Some healing elixir directly up your perverted pee hole. Your soul cries out to feel the burn, but thine eyes can't see the light. You dumpster dive into the dumpster fire, a blue-balled tiger burning bright. Where the Comic-Con that was is gone. A web of weaves remain to spawn degenerate dreams of a shameless dong. Don't turn your back on the crack. See the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Be a shadow of yourself on the streets of a baby sake Nagasaki.
Ooh.
Bow!
What up, everybody? It's your boy D-Wag, and this weekend, April 15th through the 17th, going to Comic-Con. So I'm going to be streaming the event all weekend long. So make sure you subscribe. I want to give a special thanks to Mo Biggs for making this video. And my man Steve Worcester, CG News and Reviews, is on the return, baby. So make sure you subscribe, baby. Let's go, pal!
They're doing great!
Oh, I freaking love it, man.
Eric July.
Oh, that's so good.
That was very
Awesome.
good. Man, that was good.
So that is what Mo sounds like.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's just walking around everyday voice, right?
Voice,
That's too
that's
good.
great.
Oh, look at this. Oh, I got this thing still playing in my background. That's what's happening. I was like, why do I have somebody talking? I'm like, wow.
Oh.
If you don't stop YouTube, man, it just.
As long as it's not hentai, you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
gosh.
worse.
Crazy Matt said I was there. Yeah, he got to meet
I
up
was
with him. That
there.
was really cool. He did. He got to meet up with him, which was really fun. And Casey said that did not sound like Nick Cage.
Yeah, you got to work on that one.
But what would Nick Cage do? I mean, that's what you got to ask. What would Nick Cage do? So
he'd deliver the goods.
I think
He
Nick
really
Cage
would.
and P-Wag would be great best friends.
Oh,
Looks
my
like
gosh.
a comic book macho man.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Oh, man.
Cream rises to the top.
That's too good. Well, everybody, we thank you so much for coming. We've had a great time tonight.
Good time.
So he said, those were my characters from the Crack Pack Gang cartoon. I love it. They were great, Mo. We'll have to see more of those. And at Detroit Comic-Con, ooh, never thought about going to Detroit. But we're probably going to try to look at going to like Gem City. Casey said I say Gem.
I ain't going to Detroit for nothing. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, whatever. Nick Cage has a new movie.
Anymore.
And Matty Fowler, Steve Worster, and D-Wag are seriously the coolest dudes. See, Crazy Mad got to go hang out with those guys, which is really cool.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so we're hoping to go to Dayton this summer and go hang out with some of the guys in Ohio. So hopefully, if you guys are able to go to the Gem City Comic-Con in Dayton, Ohio, I hope that some of us can get together on that date and meet up and have a good time. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. Catch us on Twitter. I didn't have our things up, did I? I didn't have our names.
Yeah. So, Aaron, where can people find you at?
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Immortal Rising 1. You can find me on YouTube at Immortal Rising Comic Book. Those are the two main places that I'm at. And then, of course, on Indiegogo, if you want to sign up for the pre-launch, do that. And I will try to copy down your email and keep in touch with you as best I can. If I don't launch off of this pre-launch page, which is a really good chance I will. So just get on there. I think there's already like 50 signups already. And people barely know anything about it. This is like the second stream I've shilled for myself. So
you have the email sign up on Indiegogo?
That's awesome, man.
That's the thing, isn't it?
That's who you have it through, right?
Yes, just through IGG. Yep.
Yeah, you can actually download the emails of everyone. It'll download.
Yeah.
Oh, because you said you had to write it down.
That's what I mean.
Sure.
So, anyways, that's where you can find me. IGG,
Awesome.
Immortal Rising Comic Book. Actually, and Facebook if you have to, but I'm barely on there. And add Immortal Rising 1. Add Immortal Rising. Yeah, you can see it. Wait.
Right there.
Oh, wait, let me get this off. There it is. There it is.
Little sound effect and everything. Anyways.
There you go. Yeah, man. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by, everybody. We will see you next week.
Right on.
And everybody
thanks
have a
for
good
the
week.
invite.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, come back anytime.
So, all right. We'll see you guys later. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.